Hi, and welcome back to What's Up This Week. And today I will talk about stress solutions. I talk about that because next week we will have a webcast about mental shifts. So it kind of is in the same subject. And related to that, my experience, well, when I was a teenager, I would get up in the morning always in a bad mood. And it was well known in my family. And it was the kind of don't talk to me until I've had breakfast. And of course, in a family, somebody would say, well, have you eaten yet? Just to tease me. Because, and I would kind of back off. You can go away. And yeah, that was me when I was a teenager. And in the following years, well, I had less energy and my health was kind of declining, and I didn't feel well. And so I ended up searching solutions, and what some of them were changing my nutrition. And then afterwards, it was supplementation to fill in the gaps. And afterwards, I noticed that, hey, I'm in a good mood when I get up. So that was a big difference. And at the time, I didn't know I could do something. I thought that's the way I am. Just you just have to accept me like I am. And afterwards, I learned that well, I could do something about that. So that's why I talk about things that we can do to help ourselves that may help. And it's simple things, and why not trying? And so that's why I'm here today. And today, like I said, I talk about stress, and it's not medical advices. If you have medical condition, go to your health practitioner. I'll start. Are you struggling to cope with daily stress? If you have an agenda, there's a big chance that you have daily stress. Stress is difficult to define and near impossible to measure. What might be a heavy burden for some could be trivial to others. We're all different. According to a survey by the American Institute of Stress, more than 70% of Americans feel that they experience either physical or psychological symptoms brought about by stress. In fact, we encounter so many stressors on a daily basis, can be at home, at work, and everywhere in between. And it's difficult to pinpoint which ones are affecting us. Chronic stress is brought about by a constant perception that things are beyond our control. What many don't know, however, is that while external factors may persist, there are things we can do internally to counter its effect on your health. Today, I'll discuss a simple three-step solution to keeping your body and mind healthy to counter the effects of stress. I'll talk about what chronic stress is, how stress affects your health, what types of conditions include stress as a risk factor, and 3 simple steps to minimize or counter stress. What is chronic stress? Because there's acute stress, which is limited in time, like a wild animals has a predator. Once the predator is, when they flew from the predator, well, the stress goes down. Well, chronic stress is not the same thing. It's a response to emotional pressure suffered for a prolonged period over which an individual perceives he or she has no control. Hans Selye, not sure how to pronounce that, he's known as the father of stress. He's credited for first studying and identifying stress. He studied stress effects by subjecting live mice to various types of stress, like excessive exercise, starvation, extreme temperature. And what it discovered is that regardless of the type of stress, the mice exhibited similar physical activity in the body. Here it's thymus gland deterioration and development of ulcers. He developed a theory of general adaptive syndrome, how we react to stress. And today we call that stress response. He concluded that humans exposed to prolonged stress could also experience hormonal system breakdown and subsequently develop conditions such as heart disease and elevated blood pressure. He considered these conditions to be diseases of adaptation or the effects of chronic stress caused by the heightened hormonal and toxic metabolic chemical levels. So, what's going on in the body? His research on acute and chronic stress responses introduced stress to the medical field. So, it's really the father of stress. It is still today, as of today, still poorly understood and most often managed with mind altering drugs. What are the symptoms of chronic stress? It can vary from person to person. We're all different. We have different experiences. So it may include post-traumatic stress disorder, sleep disorder, early graying of hair, anxiety, depression, social isolation, headaches, abdominal pain. I'm thinking of the kid who who doesn't want to go to school, lack of sleep, difficulty concentrating, and panic attacks. Dr. Browse says a lot more details about that. I will give you a few words. He makes the presentation on stress, and he has good explanation on these symptoms. So how stress affects your health? Stress leads to an endocrine system response in which a release of corticosteroids occurs. The sympathetic branch of the nervous system is then activated, also releasing an epinephrine and norepinephrine. So there's a chemical reaction in the body. That's how I say it. Chronic stress has an adaptive effect where animals and humans learn to ignore the minor discomfort and eventually accept it as a norm. Our body adjusts until it depletes essential nutrients and consequently fails to make proper hormones and enzymes. Chronic stress can increase an individual's risk for psychiatric and or physical disorders and may cause the following adverse effects to your health, like high blood pressure, which can lead to heart disease, damage to muscle tissue, inhibition of growth, suppression of the immune system, a rapid aging, mental health problems. And these can lead to diseases. So, as you can see listed here. So there are 3 simple steps to counter stress. There can be more, but these are 3 examples. Instead of letting our body adapt to constant stress and learning to live with it, we can take measures to ensure that our body and mind can counter its effects. The first one is eating a sensible diet. So trying to avoid foods that can cause your blood sugar to spike and crash, because this can lead to anxiety. And I can say by experience that sugar crash is not fun. And it can lead to mood. In the morning when you get up and you have not eaten yet. That was my case. What you can do, that's one example. You can do a lot of things. It is healthy fats, eating healthy fats such as avocados, eggs, and walnuts. There's protein in there too. And they have an opposite effect, creating a favorable hormone signaling in the brain, which supports satiety, mood regulation, and sleep and energy balance. Another thing you can do is to be in nature. Spending too much time indoors can make you more susceptible to stress. And after all, what do you do indoor? There's work, house chores, monthly bills, news. So why not get away? Exercising helps, but it would be much better if you could spend some time away from these stressors while leaving your phone behind, going outside and getting some fresh air to clear your mind. Doesn't have to be long, but just to be outside can help. The other one is supplementation. There are several nutrients that have been found to be beneficial in reducing the effect of stress on your body. And I will talk about a few of them. The L-theanine is an amino acid. It's a non-essential amino acid, and it's formulated from glutamine. And it may aid in decreasing stress response as well as cognitive impairments in stressful situations. Ashwagandha, that really helps me to calm down. It's an herb, and it may aid in decreasing the burden of stress and improve self-assessed quality of life. And another amino acid, the L-tyrosine, it produces important brain chemicals that help nerve cells communicate and may even regulate mood. L-tyrosine may also help prevent a decline in cognitive function in response to physical stress. And Dr. Browse was saying that usually when you lack of L-tyrosine, when you lack protein, you lack L-tyrosine. And speaking of Dr. Browse, here he made a webinar about the same subject. What I just told you is really, really a short a summary of what he said. He gives a lot more details in this webinar. If you want to have the link, just ask me and I will give it to you. And as I said in the beginning, next week, there will be a webcast about mental shift. It will be on August 14th at 8 p.m. I will give you the link and you can register. If you're not free at that time, if you register, you receive the replay. So that's what I have to say for today. And thank you to be there. And I wish you good health and see you next week.